All right, it's getting ready to stream in 5, 4, 3, 2. You're on.
Hi, everyone. This is Maria Pena with Keller Williams Metro, and I'm excited today to teach you guys find and win buyers.
Stream in 5, 4.
And just wanted to introduce myself again, Maria Pena with Keller Williams. Thank you so much for joining on. And we're going to be discussing how to find and win buyers. I would love the opportunity for you guys to interact with me so that we can have a meaningful class and learn from each other. How does that sound? Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, you can.
Okay, great. So I know you guys have, have had several classes, and just kind of wanted to discuss with you, how we're going to move forward with, with this, obviously with COVID and everything going on, we can't obviously do open houses. However, there are other streams of us generating business and how we can make things, basically for us to develop other clients and move forward with individuals and how we can still close deals. So I wanted to, I listened to Stephen this week in Scripts, and one thing that I wanted to bring up is, the one thing that I will be revising, and I think we all need to focus on, is what is our value proposition? Why did we get into this business? And why are we doing what we're doing? And specifically, why should buyers want to meet with you and work with you? So I feel that that is extremely important. And regardless of whether you have been doing this for a long period of time or you just started, if everybody could just kind of give me an idea of how long, if you've been in the business, how long you've been in it, what you were doing in the past, so we can kind of strategize and go from there. Does anybody want to speak up?
I have had my license for 2 years,
Okay.
but I just kind of started out this year, basically right before COVID happened, and then I was really confused after that. So,
okay, so Maribel, right? So yeah. What were you doing prior to that?
I was a pastry chef before that.
Okay, awesome. Okay, great. So, so when you say you were confused, is it because of what happened with COVID and not being able to do open houses? And how are you going to generate leads? Yes. Or can you?
Yes, I was confused because how I got my leads was through open houses, and I sold 3 homes this year, and that was all from open house.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
So, okay, so that brings up a great point, because obviously that is important for us to discuss, because obviously things have changed, right? And we're probably never going to be back. I will probably 100% can say we will never be back to our normal life for a long period of time. We're going to have to be more conscientious of everything that's happening with our world, and specifically open houses. So, including myself. So what do we do with respect to how do we get those buyers and of course get buyer consultations and move forward, right? So one thing that I would say, Maribel, is focus on the people that you just closed. I don't know if you're, obviously keeping in touch, sending out, Thanksgiving cards, sending out a text. How are you guys doing? Can I be of assistance? Do you, how's the house going? Is there anything you need from me? Just being present. And I feel that when you are present in your buyers that you've closed, or your friends, your relative, business will follow. And, for me this year, that's what I've been trying to focus on. Finance rates, interest rates are right now very, very low, correct? So talking to even to your family or friends, guys, if I may introduce you, do you guys need a lender? I don't know what your rate is at the moment. However, rates are extremely low. My clients that I just closed below 3%. if you want me to make that connection, I'll be more than happy to do so. And believe it or not, just making those having those conversations with people that um, whether it's lenders, handyman, anything at all, reminding them of their home warranty, when it's getting close to renewing, doing their taxes, just checking in just to see how they're doing with COVID, will generate individuals that will say, oh, and then you ask, oh, by the way, do you happen to know anybody? Would love to work with somebody that just like you, because we had such a great interaction. Who do you know that wants to buy or sell in the next 3 to 6 months? And believe it or not, people will start thinking about it and will remember that. So I think that's really, we need to come from contribution, although sometimes it may be that you're not going to see the results right away. You will see them eventually as the months go by. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So anybody else that wants to just share their experience, whether it's in real estate or what you've done in the past and how you're going to incorporate it into your business and what you're doing now.
I can go.
Okay, thank you, Haiti.
I've been in real estate for a little bit under 2 months now. I started back in November, like doing my classes and stuff, but because of COVID, I couldn't take my exam until like August. And before that, I worked as an EMT for 2 years.
Awesome. Okay, so what are you doing right now in terms of trying to just let people know that you're in real estate? How are you? What are you doing, if I may ask?
Yeah, I'm currently trying to contact at least 10 people a day just for my database, just to let them know, like, hey, I'm in real estate now. If you have anyone that might want to sell or buy, let me know. And I've been focusing mostly on Facebook.
Okay.
Like posting stuff on Facebook. I've been talking to my family. I've gotten a few leads from my family as well.
Great. No, that's awesome. I mean, I think that's really important. One thing that I was, we were discussing, Chris Spade, you guys probably have taken this class. He's sending out Thanksgiving cards and New Year's Eve cards versus the traditional Christmas and other birthdays or whatever. So doing something out of the box, with the people that you have not done business, but yet they're friends and co-workers that you work with EMT, and just kind of making yourself present with them and seeing how you can generate business. I think will definitely pay off. I was talking to Robert. I don't know if Haiti, you may have listened to it, but one of my past clients, I sold them a home 4 years ago, and now they're in the process of refinancing. And we've been trying to do that. Unfortunately, he had gotten diagnosed with cancer. Luckily, he's cancer free now. So I've been helping him, trying to see what I could do for them, etc. And his wife just texted me and said, oh, by the way, one of my sister is thinking of selling, possibly buying, and somebody else is thinking of buying. So I wasn't doing it for that, but my point being is just being present and reminding people that you're there to help them with whatever they need is very important. Whether you've been in the business, doing real estate, or what you were doing EMT, just showing up and just letting them know, hey, I am so excited to let you know what I'm doing now. I switched careers, doing real estate. I love it. I'm a real estate consultant. You're probably wondering, what does that mean instead of a real estate agent? And explain to them what that means. Most people assume that we just go open doors, write a contract, close a deal, but it goes beyond that. And you need to, and that's why I go back with the value proposition. What makes you different from 20 other agents? What makes us different? So you got to find that, because we all have different reasons why we got into the business, and we got to stay focused and remember, okay, how am I going to prove to this person that I can help them with whatever they need? Some people may want to buy a home and don't even know how to do it. So our goal is to have those conversations with those people, So, you know, we have, you know, we have with Keller Williams, and I know you have it in your packets, you know, on page 5, it goes through, you know, just a checklist. What you were saying, Heidi, doing the 10 new contacts. However, once you have those contacts and you're able to generate an appointment, how are you going to be different? So what I love to do is have the conversation with the person of where are they at in their lives. Some people may have signed a lease for a year or two. Are they okay with breaking that lease? You know, what is their motivation for wanting to buy a home? And are they really going to do everything that you instruct them to do, whether it's credit repairness, whether it's saving money? Because, you know, you see, I don't know if you guys do, but I live in, you know, in South Bay. Not that I'm stereotyping South Bay, however, you know, you see all these signs, 0%, no, you know, no money down, call me, you know, and then guess what? Those type of calls will generate into something that you will need some money, you will need some reserves, right? So you have to stand out, get together with your, you know, if you don't have a lender, we have, you know, an amazing lending group, Movement Mortgage, or whatever lender you want to work with, to get familiar with the process. How does the process work, so that when you have those conversations, even an initial conversation with somebody that's interested in purchasing a home, you know what you have an ability to discuss what the bullet points will be when you guys get together, and you can say, hey, you know what, would love to sit down. If you could give me 20 minutes of your time, I can give you a bullet point of what will be required for us to get going and strategize the plan, because it may be a 3-month plan, it may be a year plan. I have buyers that right now I'm working on their credit repair, and it's going to probably, with some, 6 months to a year, and because of COVID, some of them may take even longer. So those are things that we have to, that is why they're hiring us and they're calling us as professionals, for us to gather all that information, so that it's already stressful enough to try to even think about buying a home, let alone what you need to do. Am I making sense, you guys? Let me know, because I sometimes go on, and I want to make sure that I'm hitting all the points, and you guys are getting value out of this class. So
Yes,
if
totally.
you guys could participate, that would be awesome. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So any other examples? Anybody else that's in real estate, right, that has been in real estate, or are all of you guys just starting out? Can some of you guys, Maribel, I thank you so much for speaking up. Haiti, thank you. Anybody want to just kind of share what you've done in the past?
Yeah, I can. I'm just starting out. I've just got my license back in July, but then I was working a little bit for a couple of months with the Census Bureau, so I was trying to do it, but not really.
Okay.
And prior to that, I've mostly been, I would say, been at home with, you know, bringing up kids. But we've moved a lot, and I had initially thought getting into real estate because I've got a varied background in law and also in entertainment. And
Okay.
I thought that I would help people that were relocating. That was my plan, but nobody's relocating at the moment because of COVID. Because I guess I've relocated, at one point we were relocating every 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
And buying and selling houses as we go.
Okay.
But I've had to kind of change, and then trying to figure out how to market myself on social media has been a challenge.
And, you know, so thank you for sharing. I think everything that you've said, I mean, kids are great. I'm going to say that I need to be better at utilizing my grandson as a marketing tool. Just, you know, kids are great. And the reason why I'm saying that, and I don't, you know, is, you know, I had forgotten how difficult and it is to raise a child, because my daughter obviously has a child and is older. But I have a 3-year-old grandson. And the reason why I'm saying this is you can you learn so much from kids, and the kids could be your network. So social media is great. However, I think utilizing your children, you know, because they obviously, you know, as things hopefully, I mean, I know we're, you know, going to, you know, we're in purple tier again. However, things will change and develop, right? So working with the parents, you know, whatever your child's age may be, but you interact with parents, you know, their friends, parents, etc. Just basically letting people know who you what you're doing brings a lot of value, because, you know, how could I put it? Going into scenarios of, for instance, you know, I was doing, you know, I'm so excited again about what I was doing before. Now I'm at the point of, you know, changing. My career has changed, but I'm so excited about, you know, being able to assist, because you're providing, you're assisting them in purchasing a home. You're assisting them selling a home, whether it's a condo and upgrading, or whether it's a big home and they're downscaling to a smaller home. So sometimes utilizing, I know one of the agents that that is with our office now, he's utilizing, you know, the parent, utilizing in terms of having just conversations with those parents of his children when they do, when they have, you know, when they're doing Zoom calls, play dates, or whatever via Zoom. He's reminding them of what he's doing now, that he's doing real estate. Who do they know that he can assist? So I think just from being present and reminding people of what you're doing and how you can be of value, whether it's, and not just in terms of them wanting to buy or sell, but can I do, oh, you need a handy person, you know, because of what I do, I have a list. May I share that with you? So always showing contribution for whatever they may need. I think it's important, because believe it or not, those people will remember you. Am I making sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
So
Yeah, so
you know, and I know everybody's into social media. I wish I was amazing, but I feel like I am a dinosaur, and I need to learn that. But you guys are all young, and so take advantage of that, but also take advantage of you know, of, you know, a lot of people are, you know, also stepping away from that and trying to deal in their own mind with what's happening with COVID. So just be mindful of that and just check in with them, you know, check in and say, hey, you know, as you know, I've switched my career. However, you know, I was just thinking about you. Well, prior to saying that, just say, you know, I just wanted to check in with you. How are you doing with COVID? Is there anything that I can do for you or your loved ones? How could I be of assistance? Then the second time around, then remind them, oh, by the way, you know, I just, you know, want to remind you that I switched my career. How could I be of assistance to you or your relatives? Because a lot of people, believe it or not, even though they may not be discussing it, they may have to sell. You know, if things don't change quickly, there will be a lot of, you know, there will be a lot of individuals that unfortunately will need to move on, or like you said, relocate, because they're, you know, they're not able to move forward. I have, you know, one of the neighbors that I have that just bought a home was telling me he works for a large company, and they're concerned that they may have to relocate because, and they just bought the house. So you just never know what this is going to develop in terms of COVID and people's lives, because people may end up having to leave because of what are economic reasons. So just be mindful of that. Anybody else? Thank you, Patrine. I appreciate that.
welcome. Thank you.
I see a lot. I don't see any faces except for Maribel. So I can't. Thank you, Maribel. So
I was gonna hide my face today too, because I didn't dress up. I look crazy, but nobody else is showing their face. And I feel
it's okay.
bad.
It's okay. You look beautiful. Trust me. I mean, yeah, no, you guys, thank you. It's all good, guys. It's nice to, I'm the same way. I should not be saying that, because when we're doing the team meetings, I usually do the, you know, just the screenshot, because I always think like, oh, I should have done my hair better. But you know what? I appreciate the beautiful smiles that I can see. So thank you for doing that. So if you guys want to show your face just so I can get familiar, since we're probably not going to see each other for a while in our office, you know, it'd be nice. So Erin, thank you. I appreciate it. Jeanette, thank you. I appreciate it, guys. So it's nice to see you guys. Let me look in the Kyle, thank you. I appreciate that. So I know that Robert pulled up the guide, and you guys have your material with you. Did you guys review it? How are you guys? I mean, do you guys want me to go pay? I have 69 pages, guys, but I have a lot of notes, and obviously you guys have your slides. And although everything is important in here, I think our life, as we discussed with COVID, has changed drastically, where we probably need to kind of change a little bit in order for us to generate business. So we'll go through the pages, but as well, I think it's important for us to discuss, and that's why I wanted to kind of figure out what you guys, how many of you are doing real estate, and if you haven't, what were you doing in the past, and how could we assist, or any ideas we can all share on developing more business for you guys. So I don't know if anybody wants to share or do anything. Kyle, Aaron, Jeanette, everyone else. Jeanette? Okay, Kyle, go ahead.
Sure. I hope my burner doesn't go off. I'm making some coffee, so I hope it doesn't go. But
It's
so
okay.
I took an untraditional path. Right now, I'm still kind of in examinee, waiting for the state of California to process everything. Before this, I went to law school, actually. Then the California bar exam happened, and that was a real humbling experience. So I kind of realized I need to get some return on investment and do something differently. I also hated working in personal injury law, which is what I was in. So yeah, I said I'm going to go work for myself and do it this way. So as of right now, I don't have a lot of experience, but definitely law school helped with contracts and property, and just in general, working with clients and personal injury helped a lot too. Excuse me.
Oh, no, go ahead. So one thing that I will say, and I used to work in the legal field for many years. So, if I may share, is everybody okay with me sharing just a little bit about what I used to do? So I got into this business because I actually we were buying a home, and the agent that assisted us was probably not the best, not amazing. And I thought, well, if this person can do it, I can do it, right? And I was doing it more for investment purposes versus for changing my career. So I worked in the legal field for many, many years. I got very lucky and blessed that I was able to help the attorneys that I work with buy and sell homes. And so it's great that you have that background behind you. I would say definitely utilize it to your advantage. Try to get into, opening your database with attorneys and giving them your value proposition of why you can be of value to them, because believe it or not, the one thing I have been licensed for 20 years, and I have dealt with a lot of individuals that are amazing, and some not as amazing as they think they are, although they will brag about how many homes. It's not about how many homes you've sold, it's about what value you give and the quality. I get so excited when I'm going to do a transaction with a name that I recognize, because it's so amazing. You're like, oh, awesome, I get to work with this person again. And then I don't get as excited when there are other people that I see that unfortunately brag, but yet don't have the ability. So it's great that we as an office, Keller Williams has the ability to educate our agents, and you guys are here doing what you need to do to better yourselves. Because Kyle, one thing that attorneys love, and that is the one thing that why I'm referring to you and anybody else that, whatever business you may be, not just attorneys, but whatever profession you were at, focus on, I'm getting the education so that I can help you or your family, friends, or clients, whatever it may be, coworkers, for you to have a real transaction with somebody that it's not just selling your home, closing, and never remembering you. Meaning, I'm going to educate you on what needs to be done. Oftentimes, I've had situations where where I've heard it, you know, I present an offer, right? You write an offer, present it, and then they say they're going to go with somebody else because that person was much better qualified, and you're explaining to them, no, at least for me, and that's one thing that you guys want to make sure when you go through the buyer consultation and you're talking to your clients or potential clients, you want to make sure that you emphasize the lenders that I work with, they fully approve you. They don't qualify you, they fully approve you, meaning you submit their documentation, you're ready to go. So that, especially in these times right now, because the market is a seller's market, we are ready to basically get the deal done. We just need the property. It's extremely valuable that you express that and you explain that to a client, because they don't know, I don't want to say they don't know any better, but they've never done this, right? So they don't know that you are actually putting them in front of a lender that is fully approving them versus a person that's just saying, oh no, I was told that I could buy a property for X number of dollars. And they're not even they don't even have a job. They don't have a savings account. You know, they're just talking to people that want to tell them what they want to hear. So, you know, with you, Kyle, or again, anybody that's doing whatever you used to do, focus on what you used to do and try to grow your database as well with those people that were in your life. Meaning, like you were saying, okay, I have, I can't find buyers. No, we do. We talk to people every day, right? I mean, you know, maybe not every day, but every other day, let's say, because now with COVID. However, focus on, okay, what could I do? How could I bring not just conversations about real estate, conversations of how are you doing? And then, oh, by the way, our office, we have off-market properties. I know you're not looking, but if you know of anybody that's looking, any of your friends, because the market is, you know, in a great position right now, let me know and I'll be more than happy to share the list with you, with you, you know, so you can share with them or give me their information. Does that make sense? Because guess what? If you don't remind them on a daily basis, they're going to pick up the phone, go to, you know, Zillow, Redfin, and all the other, and they're going to connect with those people. So it's not that you're being pushy, it's just you always need to remind them why you do what you do and how you can help. Am I making sense? Okay, you guys are muted, so, but I appreciate the gestures. So, okay, so let me go ahead and keep on going. So I apologize. I know I'm not going per the agenda, so I apologize for that. But I think, you know, obviously we've discussed how to find buyers. In terms of qualifying buyers and doing the buyer consultation, that is right now very, you know, as you guys know, the market is extremely hot. So we want to make sure that we have qualified buyers. So it's important for you guys to have the conversations, whether, regardless of whatever buyer you may have, even if it's somebody that you may know, you want to make sure. What I usually do is I have my conversations are typically with my lender. So I have my lenders call them as well. Because it's important. Sometimes, you know, people are uncomfortable discussing, and I don't want to know people's financials and other personal information, because especially if I know them or they came from a friend or a relative, some people don't want to discuss, you know, those type of financials with you because they feel like it's, you know, whatever the reasons may be, people are sometimes uncomfortable with that. However, I do want to make sure they're qualified, right? I don't want to be showing a home to somebody and guess what? They're not qualified to move forward. You know, I've had a couple of online leads that basically have told me, oh no, this lender told me I'm qualified for 800. So it's actually funny because they'll call me on various phones to tell, and I know it's the same person, and I won't help them. And not because I don't trust me, not because I don't want to help them with an $800,000 home purchase, but because I already sent them to my lender and they don't qualify and they don't want to do anything to change that. So for me, it's like, you have to go after the business that's now. I'm not saying I'm never going to help them, but if they don't want to do what you got to analyze your clients, you know, because right now it's limited, right? We don't have a lot of clients. We're trying to you know, fish for those individuals that can buy right now, especially with people right now that are unemployed. So those people, I'm not saying let them go, but put them on your back burner so that you're, constantly checking in with them, seeing how they're doing, but yet focusing on the ones that are active, ready to go now. Am I making sense? So, but never let go of the other ones. So the key is obviously, again, having the conversations with the buyers and trying to educate them on why they need to be ready. Why do they need money? Some people say, well, I don't need any money. I saw a sign that says 0% down, and educating them up. No, you need, obviously you need to be working, and having a checklist of everything that is required of them, so that when do a PowerPoint presentation, just a couple of slides of, okay, we're doing a buyer consultation. I'm going to send you some slide, a presentation of what is going to be required and what we're going to be discussing, so that they understand what the meeting is going to be about. Because it's very, it's nerve wracking. It's, selling a home or purchasing a home is probably, next to being married and having a child, is one of the most important aspects in their life. And you're being a part of it. They chose you to be a part of it. So you want to make sure that you're doing the best that you can to make that experience as, I don't want to say relaxed, because it's not real. It's real estate is one of those, it's a roller coaster ride. So many things can happen. You can have a very smooth transaction, and then something happens and boom, everything can change, so you want to make sure that you are guiding them every step of the way. I can't even begin to tell you, I've had transactions where this year they were so smooth, and 2 weeks prior to closing, 10 days prior to closing, they were going the other way. And people get stressed, whether they've done this twice or 3 times, people forget how stressful this whole process can be. So your job is to educate them in how you're going to make it better for them. Does that make sense? So, okay. So, with respect to, I was going to ask you guys on the, Heidi, you brought up a good point about the 10 contacts, 10 connections. You guys obviously cannot preview homes. Well, you can and you can't. It depends on the situations. But how are you guys? Are you guys the ones that are actually have some? Any of you working with clients right now, or not yet?
I have a couple right now.
Okay. Jeanette, do you have a couple as well? I saw you raise, I believe you raised your hand, or no?
Yeah, I have a couple that are looking to buy, but I haven't signed the
The BRE?
BRE.
And why have they, if I may ask, why are they not motivated to sign it?
Well, I only had one in-person appointment, and then they want to buy in cash, but their cash is not enough to buy a property.
Okay.
Even a single family home, but they have a good cash. So I'm trying to see if they want to get a mortgage, but because they're really conservative of getting into debt, they don't want to do that. So I think they're trying to, I don't know, think about it. Like the wife is more into it. The husband is not so much. So
Okay.
that's a conflict. But
Okay.
I'm still talking to them, and hopefully they still have a lease for until June. So that might be a reason too. They don't want to buy like right now.
And break the lease. Okay. Okay. And then what about you, Haiti?
They're actually, I have 2 that are brand new. I have a buyer's appointment tonight that I'm trying to get my BRE signed today.
Okay.
And then I have 2 other ones that I also don't have a BRE with. One of them, I sent him my BRE, but he hasn't replied because his lender said that he can't put in offers until the end of this month. So
Okay.
he's going to wait until we can actually start the process to sign the BRE, I guess. And then the other clients, they are also waiting for their pre-approval to come back.
Okay. If I've learned anything from my past experiences, guys, don't make the mistakes that I have. So if you can get them to sign a BRE, get it right away. The reason why I'm telling you this is, and I cannot tell you how many times, you know, it's happened to me in the past and to other agents, seasoned agents, where they say, oh, they're going to use you. You open and close doors for them, and then next thing you know, they bought with somebody else, whether it was their rabbi, their, you know, pastor that had their daughter just got their license, and you were the one that was basically taking them everywhere. So if anything, I would say, you know, have them sign the BRE. They can always, you know, they can always, if they decide not to buy something, they can always tear it up and move on. It's almost the same thing as a listing contract. And kind of remind them, you know, when you go to a doctor's office, when you go to a dentist, you have to fill out paperwork, right? You have to sign documentation. So it's almost the same thing. I mean, you're committing yourself to these people, and they need to commit themselves to you. And if they're not 100% committed, then that basically most likely means that how loyal are they? You know, if you're especially in these times, if you're looking at, you know, properties that are off market, that, you know, when, you know, an investor has or somebody else, and you're presenting them to them, but then they're going to write with somebody else because it can happen because you don't have a BRE. Guess what? Then you basically are losing out on that client. And if you know, I'm not saying let them go right away, but if after 2-3 meetings they're still not willing to sign, reevaluate the client, you know, and see if it's really worth it. Because I will tell you, there's been oftentimes where I've lost and they go, oh, but we really like you and we would love to take you to dinner. Well, dinner doesn't pay my bills, you know, but it can happen. So you got to just remind yourself that you're in the business to offer a service, but at the same time, you are also in the business of making money. So you gotta show them why they, number one, why they called you, why they're using you, and why you're valuable to them. And because you are valuable to them, you're constantly looking for off-market properties that, you know, they haven't even seen. You need them to commit to you. Okay. So that's really important. And like I said, it's happened to me and it's disappointing, but you got to just remember, you just like you know, it's almost like a listing. You know, you go to a listing appointment. Well, you can't sell their home unless they get a list, you have a listing contract signed. Was the same thing as a buyer's. So sometimes twisting it around that way, or even saying, hey, if you were going to have surgery, would you just have your doctor open you up and be done with it? Or would you actually would you complete the paperwork, have them sign and move forward? And they're going to say, oh yeah, we complete the paperwork and we have them sign. It was the same thing with you. You're a professional. You're a real estate consultant. You are doing this, you're consulting them so that they can move forward, and you need to show your value to them. Okay. So again, sending out, you know, the notes every so often, I think it's great. And I think it's going to help you guys. How many of you guys own a home, or you've purchased a home, if I may ask? Okay. So do you recall, Patrine, when you bought a home and how your experience was? I'm assuming were you your own agent, or did you buy it with somebody else?
No, it was before I had my license. We bought the house.
Okay. And what was your experience
and sold a few. We've bought and sold as we've relocated a number of times, and generally it's been good. But when we sold our last house, the first agent we had wasn't good, and that's the only time I've ever had to say goodbye to an agent and go with a different one.
Okay. Okay. But then so even though you've sold and bought, you're still, you've gone through that process. And the reason why I'm asking you is, I think it's helpful when, whether you've ever bought or not bought, you sitting down with a lender and having a lender consultation with them, whether you're even thinking of buying or not. And the reason why is because you want to go through that experience, so that when you're articulating what that is going to be like to that potential buyer, you can explain it, because it's totally different, right? I mean, I can tell you what my experiences have been, but if you've never been through that, then you know what, it's almost like you buying a car. Some people have amazing experiences, some people do not. I hate salespeople. I hate phone calls. I hate, you know, I think I've become, as I'm getting older, I've become very introverted. So, but I love what I do, which is kind of crazy, right? However, if I always feel like people are trying to sell me something. However, if I see the value of what they're trying to do for me, then I stop my mind and listen. So where I'm going with it is, if you've already bought, so remember your experience, do your value proposition, do your bullet points of what your experience was like, so that when you have your buyer consultations, remember what that buyer, what that consultant, real estate consultant went through. Did they go through those steps of what you needed to do? You know, you need 2 year, you know, your checklist of, you know, 2 years, you know, work, payroll stubs, credit reports, etc. All of that, so that you're able to articulate that. You know, practice with each other, or practice with your significant other, or somebody that, you know, a friend, your buyer consultation, so that they can critique you, and record it, so that you can listen to yourself and see, oh, okay, no, this is what I said, you know, and this is what I should have said. And why would they go with me if, you know, so, I mean, just judge yourself, because you're never going to, I think we all, regardless of how long you've been doing whatever you've been doing, you always can better yourself and learn from every experience.
Right.
So I think that's really important. I think once, you know, it's really easy for us to say, oh yeah, I can do this. And, you know, I know Susan, you guys did the listing, she had the listing presentation, and yes, you should fake it till you make it. However, also make sure that you practice, you know, just like your scripts, you guys, everything that they tell you to do in the book, practice every day, do it. And then, believe it or not, it's just almost like riding a bike, driving a car. Once you practice enough, it's going to be smooth. You're not going to even remember all the obstacles that you had in the beginning. Am I making sense, guys?
Yes, you're making sense.
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody else want to share any experiences in terms, anybody else have purchased or sold a home or anything similar? Aaron? Thank you.
I purchased 3 property actually directly from owner. We closed it in the title office, and 2 property that I purchased, I did it through the real estate. That
And
was
how
all
was your experience?
Except the first one that, you know, was my first investment property, that I learned much more about the mechanic lien.
Okay.
The rest of that was fine. I mean, the first one was challenged because I didn't have any experience. My background was marketing and watching just HGTV. I got interested to, you know, flipping. But the first one was hard, and I lost a couple of thousand for attorney and other stuff. But rest of that, it dragged me to come now here to, be in the real estate, because I enjoyed to work for myself.
Okay. So you were representing yourself when you were doing those transactions, or was somebody else representing you?
Well, the 3 of them, I just directly had the connection with the seller.
Okay. Okay.
The property, and they put the sign for sale, or I found them on the Craigslist, and then I contact, and then we close it in the title office.
Okay.
The other ones, I talked to the agent. 2 of the other ones talked to the agent, and the agent closed it for me.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, and again, it's crazy how much you learn from each experience, because I know that again, I've this past 18 months, I've been working, a lot of my business are it's referral business or repeat clients. So I've done quite a few individuals that have upgraded, their homes because they either got married or now have family. And I will tell you, I 100% own it. They purchased from me, right? I sold them. Now I was selling, and they were buying. And I'm going to be 100% transparent when I say they had the experience not that long ago, but yet I didn't realize how much they had forgotten what the experience was like with purchasing and how nervous and nerve-wracking it was, where I had to have the conversation of, okay, let's breathe. These are the next steps. And so it reminded me of every transaction, you know, whether it's the first time you've met with that person or the second time, is you got to remember, just consider it as it's their first transaction all over again. The one thing that I do, and you can create your own templates, is, and the TCs do it, but I like to send one myself, is when they get their offer accepted, is do congratulations, your offer has been accepted. I do bullet points of what the timelines will be. I give them a list of 3 to 4 inspectors. You also don't want to do too many, so that they can research that. And I give them just bullet points of what the next steps will be. And I also show it in the buyer consultation, so that that's not their first experience when they're already in an offer, you know, their offer has been accepted. So for me, when I do a buyer consultation, I not only go through the initial stages of getting them approved, I give them a copy of what an offer looks like, or I can send it to them via DocuSign so that they can see it, so that when you do write their first offer, they're not like, what is this? Because it's overwhelming, right? It's not just 12 pages. It's, if you really think about it, it's probably 30 pages that you're going to incorporate into a DocuSign for the first time for these people. The comparative market analysis, you know, well, this is the listing one, but, and this is from the title, but, you know, I give them something like this where they can see it and they can go through the recent sales of what they're going to be writing and what they're writing their offer for, so that they can get familiar with everything. And I will tell you again, I had forgotten how these people in such a short time frame had forgotten all of these steps, and we're like, okay, so what's next? What else do we have to do? And where I'm going, and it's because I neglected to send them the email because they were not first-time home buyers anymore. They were second and third, but they had forgotten all of that. So I was like, okay, you know what? From this point forward, I'm going to incorporate that email as if they were just, again, first-time home buyers, because people forget. People, you know, they like to visualize, okay, what are the next steps? How are we going to accomplish this? And it helps them. So I always will revert back. Oh, remember that email that I sent you? Oh, yeah. I also, the lenders that I work with, and pretty much the majority of the lenders will also do emails. Your appraisal's coming in. People don't realize, what is an appraisal? Oh, what do you mean? I have to pay for it out of my pocket? You need to explain all those situations. Yes, the appraisal, the inspections, you have to pay for them out of your pocket. Some people think all of those expenses will be incorporated in their closing costs, which they're not. So that's part of our job, to explain to them what they need to do, because guess what? They will not remember. They will not remember sending their money. They will not remember that. Always remind them, do not send your money until you speak to your escrow officer, because I can tell you, I've been in classes where 6 figures have gone to another country because the agent did not communicate to their clients that they needed to communicate to the escrow officer. And guess what? That money went away. I don't know if it was ever recuperated. So you got to just remind them all of those things, and not because you're trying to scare them, but because you're trying to educate them of what the process and the steps are. You know, the inspection, what does that mean? Why do I need an inspection? Some people don't understand that. Explaining to them, oh, the other agent that I spoke to, she told me he told me I didn't need an inspection. Reminding them why they need an inspection, why it's so important for them to do that. Also, you know, the home warranty. What a lot of people think a home warranty, you know how we have the home warranty when you write an offer. Well, they think the home warranty is the same as the home warranty that the lender requires them. 2 different home warranty. So you want to explain to them what the differences are. You know, although we use one particular company, you want to make sure that you explain to them it's their choice. They can go with whomever. However, we have, you know, this company that, you know, that we use because we know that, you know, we have a good relationship with the rep. However, if there's a different company that they want to utilize, they're more than happy to do so. The other thing is, okay, what happens after, what does contingency release mean? All of those things, again, set them up in bullet points or in a power slide when you're setting up your buyer consultation so that people see the value and why they should choose you versus somebody else, because you're explaining all those key points to them. Again, also turning on utilities. Some people, believe it or not, don't realize they have to transfer utilities once a property is closed. I always tell people do it before, before we close. Why do I ask that? I mean, why do I say that? Is because I've had one instance right before Thanksgiving. I told my client, transfer the water. And when you transfer the water, also, as you're opening, the kids are going to be excited and you're opening the plumbing, make sure don't open all the faucets at the same time, because guess what? It could cause a blow up, right? Well, no, he didn't listen to me. And guess what? I mean, he was excited. He got brand new flooring, but he was not able to spend Thanksgiving because the whole house flooded because they left turned them all on, and some of the plumbing just blew up. So little things that I mean, he was, like I said, he was excited. He was getting a new floor, but I was like, okay. They had invited me to Thanksgiving, and he's like, yeah, we're not going to be doing Thanksgiving after all, Thanksgiving lunch. So unless you want to help us come and dry some flooring, the company is coming with restoration to fix our flooring. So little things like that you think, oh, they're never going to do it, they will do it. So again, just explaining to them why you're doing everything that you're doing, even though they haven't even purchased a home, but showing them all those bullet points will show them that you're experienced, you're knowledgeable, and you know what you're doing. Any questions with that? Any comments? No? Okay.
Sorry, I kind of have a question, I guess, for everyone. For anyone that's had a bad experience with an agent either selling or buying their property, what did that agent do? Just so I know what to not do.
I can share my experience with the agent that I didn't like. We were selling a home. We used to live in Ohio, and I guess, how can I put it? I felt that she didn't believe in our house. So I felt that she just, she was used to selling properties in a different location. She was assigned to us from the relocation company, and I liked her house. I thought it was good, and I think she just didn't like it enough. I guess I felt that she couldn't sell my house well and market it well if she didn't believe in it, and I didn't feel she believed in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, thank you, Katrine.
I currently I put like a few months ago I put the property for sale, and I was receiving phone calls still from clients, and that was also was very interesting for me. I told the agent that please remove my phone number from the property and put your own sign, and he didn't listen. But still, I was receiving directly call from the the buyers, and since the property is in different place, different state, that was just like was strange for me that he was not listening, and I was still receiving phone calls. I mean, what's the benefit of signing up with agent and it's still client calling you? So finally, I changed to someone else that I told him, please remove this sign with my phone number and put your own sign. And the communication is one of the, I think, one of the important things that if now me as a agent, I know that if we don't communicate correctly and we don't follow the principle, it's going to cost the changing. I'm going to go with a different person.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome.
And I think thank you for sharing. Those are very valid points. I think if people can read you, and people can sense whether or not you're true, meaning if you really truly believe in the home. I mean, I was selling a home, and this is a repeat. Well, these people already left to another state, but this is, they referred me clients, just a repeat buyer, right? However, they were going through some challenges. Long story short, you have to remind them why they bought the home, and that the home is going to sell, and to be positive, because when your clients are not positive in terms of why they're doing whatever they're doing and passionate about selling the home, you have to be in love with the home so that your client can remember why they bought the home. I know it sounds silly, but it's almost the same thing as when you're showing them homes. I'm not saying you're going to go into a home and, you got to remind them, a little bit of paint, a little bit. I get excited when I go look at homes, of course, that are gorgeous, right? You're coming in. I will not show you my house because it's a mess right now, but meaning it's a model home. I get so excited. My neighbor's home is a model home and it looks amazing all the time. And I get excited going into homes like that. However, when, like what you just said, if you are not in love with what you're doing and passionate about serving your buyers and or that home you're selling, then you know what? No offense, get out of the business. Why? Because you're doing a disservice to the consumers. And that is why people, and I apologize because I used to work with attorneys and they're very good friends of mine, but people have bad reputations, and it's not fair on the other people that are professional and are good, because it's not fair. It's the same thing with us. I have people that, will often say, well, why should I pay you? You guys get paid so much money. I can do it. So obviously we haven't shown our value, right? Because for somebody to say that to you, I was showing property in Bonita a couple of months ago. My clients already bought. And there was this, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's a couple of agents or brokers that will basically charge a fee. And I know, obviously other companies are doing that as well, for you to list their home with them, right? They give you a set price and basically you do everything. So it's almost like a fistful, but they have access to our site. Anyways, I text the owner and asked her if I could come. And so I showed it. My clients didn't love it. So she kept on texting me. So she wanted to know what I thought of it. So I did a long text message, very long text message. And then after I hit send, I figured, oh gosh, I probably shouldn't have been so, it was a pretty long text. And she texts me back and she goes, you're the only person that actually responded to my text and has been very responsive. And I said, okay. I go, well, and she goes, what do you think I should do? And I said, well, prior to me answering your question, I would like to know, because I'm very disappointed. Obviously, we, including myself, have failed as real estate professionals because you're selling your home on your own versus selling it with a real estate professional. Why is that? If I may ask that question, then I will help you with what you want me to, I will answer your question. And the person said, well, I used to be a real estate, agent, and I'm no longer, but I don't like agents, and I had, like you said, bad experiences and didn't want to use them. And I said, okay, valid enough. And I said, well, it's unfortunate that you had, and I didn't look up the person and, or, to try to figure out how long the person had been in the business, I fear, whatever. So basically I just told her, this is what I need to do. This is what I think you need to do. You need to stage it. There were a couple of hairline situations going on the floor. I said, you should have, fix that before you listed it, because people, their minds go, oh my gosh, the house is, going to fall apart. So I just gave her a list of everything that I felt that the home needed, and she needed to take professional pictures, etc. Well, she went ahead and didn't, and I told her, probably she should take down the listing, do everything, and then put it back up, fresh. She didn't take it down. That was the only thing she didn't do. But she did everything that I told her. 7 days later, the house went pending. And so I congratulated her, because I had, flagged it on my system, and I congratulated her and I said, I'm excited. As she, long story short, she basically said, no one took the time to answer any of my questions except for you. You were the only one that told me what I should be doing. And I want to tell you that although obviously she didn't use me, right? Because she already was doing her own thing. She goes, I am going to remember you. And if I ever have any friends or family that need, your assistance, I will definitely connect you. I don't know if she ever will or not, but it made me feel good that I did something for somebody else. I wasn't expecting anything, but it reminded me of why I do this, why I get emotional, so I apologize. I remember why I wake up every day and I love what I do. We are so fortunate to be in this business. We forget, how lucky we are. We get to help people with such an amazing experience purchasing a home, owning. I mean, imagine, it's so exciting when you buy your first car, right? You get your keys. It's the same thing. It's the same feeling. It's the same feeling as when you have, when you get married. I mean, those are just, I think, we take things for granted. And, it's just, we are doing something that is so amazing. I mean, I really do believe that. I believe that every person should own a home, because that is the future of your children, in terms of if you ever have, that is the reason why I got into it, because I wanted to purchase property. I want to leave a legacy for my family, for my children, for my grandchildren. And so for me, it's like, I love what I do. I really love it. And I'm passionate every time I talk about it. I'm passionate to see young people doing this, because you know what? We're so blessed that we get the opportunity to help somebody that potentially never thought. I've helped people that their family was in real estate and told them they could never buy a home, and guess what? They bought a home and they had tears in their eyes. And so for me, every time I get to do that, I know that I'm very lucky. And that's how you guys should remember that. It's not a paycheck. It's changing somebody's life. You really are changing somebody's life, because you are doing something that will be, how could I put it? Would just make a huge difference in their, not just in their own life, but in their family. I don't know if I'm making sense. I apologize. I talk too much, so I get very passionate, and so I go off trail. So I am sorry if I'm talking too much, guys. So please chime in and be a part of it.
Yeah, no, I worked for basically a lawsuit factory, the first job I had out of school, and you could be the most competent attorney in the world, but if you didn't call your clients regularly and portray the confidence in their case, like this is something, these people are catastrophically injured, so like they're in a lot of pain, but it's easy to forget that when they're just clients and they're just a paycheck. So, not communicating with them, that's why you lose them, even if you're the smartest person in the world, the most competent, if you're not, projecting that confidence and affirming them and taking care of their fears, that's how you lose them.
So true. I mean, I unfortunately, the last Ignite class, shortly thereafter, I was involved in a automobile accident, and my car was totaled. A lot of other stuff happened, and so my mind went off. And one thing that you're absolutely correct, Kyle, just interacting and trying to, I have not found, I'm still interviewing. I know it's crazy, but I psychoanalyze too much, I think, my life and people. But just speaking to people that, are professionals in that field, it was so disheartening to just know that they just wanted the agreement signed, but yet no compassion. And it brought me back to, again, reevaluating what I'm doing, meaning my real estate career, and how am I going to change to become a better person, so that if I've missed in some way my value proposition, going back to, okay, do you have to reevaluate that? Because are you becoming one of those individuals because you're trying to get a deal going? And, and so I think we constantly have to remind ourselves of that, because in whatever careers we had in the past, and the people that we meet, if people are not taking the time to show compassion, value, professionalism, maybe they don't need to be a part of your life, you know, especially right now in these times, because we're going through a lot as a nation, and I think we missed a lot of the, because we're all in our world and trying to survive on survival mode. We forget that we're human beings and we need to be compassionate and professional, you know, in whatever we're doing, whether it's business and or personal life. So yeah, I mean, I definitely know that I definitely need some work, you know. So so yeah. So anyways, moving on, guys. So with your slides, I know you guys, did you guys get to see like the motivated slides and all that stuff? Were you guys able to watch that? I mean, I think, you know, there's some good, those videos are really good in terms of finding the motivated buyer, asking the right questions. I would go through your materials in terms of asking that, because I think definitely that is going to help you in terms of trying to get your categories of your A buyers, your B buyers, your C buyers, the people that you may have to put in the back burner prior to, and focusing on the ones that are ready to go now, or whether it's listings, whatever you guys are focusing on. So I think that's important for you guys to focus on educating yourself with what's happening with the market. You know, although we're, again, not able to do open houses, you could do virtual open houses. I know a lot of agents are doing that. You know, get yourself comfortable with the uncomfortable of being, you know, on Zoom, doing, you know, coordinating with the lender. You know, start meeting lenders. I know you guys, some of you have been doing this, some of you have not, but start meeting lenders. Work with the people that you are comfortable with, you know what I mean? So, hey, say to that lender, I would love to, hey, what do you think about doing a first-time home buyer program, you know, Zoom meeting? Even if you have one person, guess what? That one person can be qualified, ready to go, right? You don't need 20 people. You want to just, if you can give value and assist one person, do it. So, you know, Vinny, he's amazing. He's doing always first-time home buyer seminars, you know, investor seminars, whatever you guys, whatever your niche is, focus on that niche and coordinate yourself, or pardon me, get together with the right people so that you guys are able to assist and get those meetings going. You don't have to just do, you know, I know open houses are no longer available, but there's other ways of generating business. So, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Have any of you thought about that, or how do you feel about that? Maribel, I know you were doing open houses, but have you done virtual open houses, or any of you, Patrine, Jeanette? Yes.
I haven't done a virtual open house, but yeah, I haven't done them yet, and I was thinking about it.
Well, I'll tell you what, don't think about it. I have a listing coming up in the next, hopefully, week and a half. So you guys are more than happy. Once I get hopefully professional pictures and Matterport, you guys are more than happy to call on any of us, anybody, even people that are not affiliated with our office, but we have plenty of listings. Hey, just say, hey, can I do an open house on your house? You know, if it hasn't sold. If they're vacant, even better. Use the PEAT form, go out there, do it live, you know, just anything that you can do, you know, to generate traction, do it, you know. I think it's important.
Honestly, I would love to go to your listing and post it live or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. When I end up doing that, I'll let you know, because I have to be there with you. My client is very, you know, yeah, but yes. And I will definitely be doing the Matterport. So it's in UTC. I have another, you know, I have another one in South Bay. So you guys just utilize everything and everybody, you know, because remember, just because it's not your listing, just because, that does not mean that you cannot promote it and market it. We all want to do, our ultimate goal is what? Buying and selling, right? if I have a listing, I want to sell it, I could care less, as long as you bring me a qualified buyer who buys it. So the same thing, vice versa with you guys. The more you're out there, the more you could do a short little video when you're interacting with your sphere, with your friends, with your attorneys, and I have to be better at myself, but one individual that I know that's a good friend of mine, and they've been doing videos, like little videos. I mean, I hate my voice. I hate the way that I look. So I'm constantly like, I don't want to listen to myself. However, if you're, just get uncomfortable with the uncomfortable. Send a quick message, just a short little, instead of a text, do a video text. Hey guys, just how are you doing? Would love to, wish you a happy Thanksgiving, whatever it may be. Just remind people that you're there. So I think that's, and then of course, just say, market is, doing amazing. Anything that you think will be a good catch for them to remember who you are. And I think people will keep you in mind. Am I making sense?
Yeah. Can I ask you, the property you have coming in the UTC, is it North UC, and what kind of price point is it?
It's good. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 985 square feet, if I remember correctly. And the nice thing about it, and it has a washer and dryer, so it's on Via Vicenza, so it's right off of Nobel. The one thing that I like about it is so you have the master bedroom. So you basically have, in my opinion, 2 master suites, because they're opposite sides of each other, and so it's nice because the 1 bedroom with the full bath is on one side and the other one is on the opposite side. And then of course you have your living room, your dining room, and then your bathroom and laundry, which is a nice plus, and then a small little balcony. So that's going to be listed. I think we're going to probably go live. I'm thinking in the below 500. And so it's a good, and of course it has the courtyard, the internet cafe, which right now unfortunately you can't utilize because of COVID, and then of course the pool and all that. But it's a great location. I mean, it's literally right off the 5. I mean, you could walk to Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, not Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, all the restaurants, etc. And it's on the opposite side of 805, which is approximately not even 6 minutes from where the condo is situated. So it's a really nice location.
So is it first floor, ground floor?
It's on the second floor. Second floor.
Okay.
Yeah, second floor. And then you have, it's not an inside unit, meaning to the courtyard, it's facing the outside. So you have the adjacent condos on the right, and then across you have a commercial building. But it's nice because you have technically no neighbor in front of you, which is a nice plus, I think.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. And like I said, if you guys want to put it on Facebook, market it, please, I would love it. I would love to do it.
Can you send the link, the text?
Yes.
Thank you.
So what I'll do is, like I said, we're getting a professionally clean on Tuesday and Wednesday. So my goal is to hopefully have pictures taken on Thursday. And then depending, because of Thanksgiving, I mean, the goal is if I can get everything done by next Thursday, then we'll make it live prior to Thanksgiving. And that's why I'm going to price it aggressively. So that I can close it. Would love to close it before the end of the year.
Yeah, I have a question about that. So to do the COVID compliance open house, Patrina and I, we're at the Clarissa's group, and she was encouraging us to do that. But we need to advertise because they have to be scheduled appointments, pre-scheduled appointments. If we wanted to do that with yours, when can we start advertising your?
So with mine, okay, so, and I have to talk to the client because she's very, and it's not because of COVID, just other personal reasons why she's being a little more specific on showings, etc. So I either have to be there, or she has to show it. So if, for instance, if we did something like that, I probably would say maybe we did, if I could get her to leave for 2 hours, and then I would say, I would still have to be I mean, I rather be there than her be there. If you guys want to do that, and then I kind of just stay on the background, but you do your thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And
but
only because she just wants either her or myself to be there. And I mean, I don't want to get into specifics, but she just wants one of us to be there.
okay.
But we could definitely try to figure something out. I mean, I know she wants it to sell. So I mean, I will do whatever I need to do to make it happen.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. And then I would also focus on, looking for, I mean, believe it or not, there's still a lot of homes that are staged or vacant. Focus on a lot of the homes that are particularly like that, or check in with the agents and say, hey, do you mind if I, may I do a virtual open house with your listing? And this is what I'm thinking, would that work for your seller? Because if you can do that, that'd be great, I think. Does that make sense? And also sending
Yes,
it to your link. I mean, also, when you guys do end up doing whatever listing you may do and you do a video, send it to your sphere. You never know. I mean, just say, hey guys, excited. Here's a video I just took of this new home that's coming up. Who do you know that is thinking of buying or selling, and upgrading to something like this? You never know. I mean, somebody could be thinking about it. And the reason why I'm telling you guys, I would love for you guys to connect with your lenders is because you want to do also comparisons, meaning, okay, you have a client that, is in a, let's say, condo situation, right? Well, typically with a condo situation or a PUD, they have a association, and they may potentially have 2 HOAs, correct? So guess what? If they have, let's say, $500 worth of HOA fees, they may be able to qualify and upgrade to a single family home based on the new rates. So that's what I'm saying. You need to, just like you're taking these classes, educate yourselves with your other professionals, your lenders that can help you understand. They're the professionals, and you're going to get your client to that person, but at least educate yourselves to where, oh, okay, so you're saying if they stay in their home, this is their payment, but if they upgrade to a single family home, the difference is $300 to $400. Think about it. Some people may say, yeah, let's do it. So I mean, this is the right time for a lot of people that were potentially thinking of upgrading to upgrade to whatever it may be, a larger home or downscale, because they want to be debt free. They don't want to have you just have to get your wheel spinning to whatever, just kind of innovate yourself in, okay, how can I help the friends, the family, whatever, in terms of, did you know this rates are this, Ed has done comparisons in our meetings, right? Okay, if you buy this home, because people will sometimes tell you, oh, I want to wait till next year, right? Okay, so you got to ask the questions. Why are you waiting till next year? What is motivating you to wait till next year? Oh, the market is going to, go the other way. So explain to them, okay, if the market goes this way, have your lender do a comparison. Okay, you have X number of dollars below 3%, 2.6, 2.25, whatever the rate may be today. Okay, it's still below 3, let's say 2.6. Okay, if the market goes a different way next year, and let's say the home value now is 500, but your rate is 4.5, this is what your payment is going to be. Do you really want to wait? Educate them on why they potentially may want to make the move versus waiting. Sometimes, I've had people where they put themselves out of the market, and now I can say they will never be able to buy even if the market shifts in a different direction, because guess what? They listen to their friends, They didn't listen to the professionals, and they put themselves, yeah, you were renting for 20 years. Well, you're going to rent now for another 50 years because you didn't. So you have to explain to them this. You're not trying to push them. People, you can't, what is the saying? You can't lead a horse to water or something like that, or whatever one of those sayings. You never, but yet if you educate them and explain it to them and have them digest it, they may make that switch. I mean, I just closed on a transaction with, I think they're in their mid 20s. Maybe a little older, almost in their 30s probably. But I sold them a home. It was a solo lead, okay? Sold them a home, sold him a home 5 years ago. Now he's married. Sold them their second home. They're never going to sell and buy. Their goal is to build their portfolio, right? And so anyways, they're like, I don't know, I think I can't remember, and I apologize, but they're early 20s. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and it's all from you teaching. You have to learn to, you have to, it's important for people to understand that real estate, whether it's like a roller coaster ride, but if you're not going to be, not everybody can be a flipper. Do it for the reasons of having that real estate become your future. So when you're older, you will have that money, those investment properties that are going to supplement your income. So you got to get people to think that way. I'm working with a buyer that somebody referred me, and she's, because of COVID, obviously schools are not happening right now, so there's no urgency this year, but yet I said, okay, fine. You don't want to sell your condo? No problem. Why don't you refinance it while we're waiting for next year to see what things, how things develop? Guess what? She had a phenomenal rate. Now she's ready. Next year, when I'm hoping things change, right? She's going to be able to rent that condo and then get into her new home, still make a little bit of money, and go on to the next property. So that is why you need to educate yourself, just like you're doing in these classes, with those lenders, with those professionals, the attorneys. Educate yourself, take classes, get the certification from the probate, from I believe it's, God, I'm taking it and I just went blank. It's NAR, the probate designation, get yourself familiar, short sales. Get classes on short sales, because when short sales happen, you want to make sure you understand what that is all about. So the more educated you are, the more value you're going to bring to your loved ones, to your friends, that will have friends that are looking, that potentially do not know anybody. And guess what? Your friends or your past clients are going to remember, oh my gosh, my professional consultant is always calling me. Do I need a handy person? How am I doing? They're awesome. Because guess what? And I'm guilty of that myself. People, we are not present. We're not present enough in our clients' lives. Thank goodness. I mean, not thank goodness. Let me rephrase that. COVID is giving you guys an opportunity to be present now more than ever in people's lives and interest rates. So become more present if you're not already with individuals that you know. Yes? Can I get a thumbs up? So anyways, so moving on. So do you guys have any questions for me so far? Do you guys want to, I know I've been talking and the class is almost over. I was going to say, do you want to take a break, but let's just power through it and let me know if am I bringing you guys any value? I mean, I know it's probably not your typical class, but I mean, am I bringing you some value of what this class and what you need to be doing? Or how can I answer any questions for you guys?
Yeah, I do think you're bringing value. Yeah, I think it's just reiterating what we've been told by our coach Clarissa is, work on your sphere and then find other avenues where you can pick up clients.
And find your niche. you know, whatever you did in the past, utilize that experience to bring you to your new career. This is just, it's almost like I always tell people when they buy their first home and they say, oh, but it's so small, I wanted something bigger. And I say, guys, this is just your first stepping stone. We haven't climbed the mountain yet. This is just your first stepping stone. So everything that, you know, you're new at this, but you're not. Utilize everything that you've done in the past careers to focus on how you can become a better real estate consultant in terms of value. Listen to other people in terms of not just in our office, but maybe other individuals, you know, YouTube. I mean, gosh, you know, we have some amazing, you know, videos. Listen to how they're doing it, but also remember, not because people can brag about how amazing they are, but sometimes, often enough, if people have to brag so much, they're not that amazing. I will tell you that, because it's almost sometimes people have to validate themselves, but sometimes it's not always, they're not that amazing. I mean, I've had instances where where I get so excited working with this particular individual, and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited, I'm going to work with this person, and it's such a disappointment because it turned out to be such a, it should be, I always tell people when I'm able to speak with an agent, I always tell them, look, my goal is for you to accept my client's offer and for us to close this transaction. But ultimately, the goal is, we're not here to work against each other. We're here to work together, because guess what? Whether you're representing a buyer or you're representing a seller, ultimately the goal is what? To get the transaction closed and to make it as pleasant as possible. So you cannot allow your ego to get in the way, because we are not, it's not about egos. It's about you doing your job and doing it well. And if you have a 2-year-old agent, you know, and I'm serious about that, that is having a tantrum, then take ownership and get that transaction closed and bring them to reality and tell them, this is what we need to do to get this done. Because sometimes people's minds get in their way and their egos, and they don't realize that at the end of the day, we have to close the transaction and move forward, because lives are happening. The one thing that I will tell you, and I know this, you know, I'm going in different directions. When you guys are doing your buyer consultations and people are in a lease situation, I think one of the most important things is what we were discussing when their lease is up, okay, having those conversations. So having your checklist, which I know you guys have in your books, and modifying that checklist, because it may be that you don't like all the questions that are there, but utilizing it to the best ability that you can. But also finding out if their lease, number one, if they can break the lease, you know, surrender, because sometimes if you find a tenant or they find somebody, they allow you to break that lease and there are no consequences. And if it is, what is that if it's 3 months, 4 months, 6 months? Number two is making sure that prior to them closing, because things, especially right now, things can go sideways very quickly. Okay. So I typically tell my clients, do not give notice until we release all contingencies or we're moving forward. And the reason why I say that is because you never know what can happen. I had a situation, I was representing the sellers. However, the buyer it was a 21-day escrow. And then because of COVID, they got relocated and then they canceled. So the day that I sent out the email saying your contingency release is up, they basically canceled, right? So my point being is, you want to make sure that your clients don't put themselves out of a home, out of a lease, before you're able to move forward with that transaction. Once you release contingencies, typically everything is moving forward and it can happen, but always still remind them it's real estate. There's a article about turbulence, you know, everything that can happen in a real estate transaction. And it's so true, because if you read it, so many things can happen in real estate that sometimes you just don't realize, like, oh my gosh, this can this can definitely go sideways really quickly. So, so I always tell people, until I tell you to release, until we release contingencies, please make sure that you don't give notice, because you never know what can happen. So does that make sense? The other thing is, you know, again, just making sure that they don't, also the other thing is credit. People don't realize when they buy a home, you know, how you have to do your credit reports and all that great stuff and get qualified. Well, oftentimes some lenders may not remind consumers that they're also going to get, one, they're going to check their employment again prior to closing, right? And two, rerun their credit if it's either expired or for whatever reasons. And you want to make sure that they don't go out there buying a new car, doing, you know, opening up a new credit card, buying the furniture before they close on the house, because all of those things can basically affect, potentially may affect, one, the sale or their purchase, pardon me, or their interest rates. So you want to make sure you remind them of that, because that's really important. And you can, I mean, a transaction can go south because of that. So you just want to make sure that you remind them all those little things that you may think are not something that you need to be a part of. Yes, you do. You want to make sure that you're emphasizing, don't go out there buying the flooring, don't go out there getting a new credit card, because you know you're going to get that 10%. Tell them you'll give them the 10% of whatever they wanted to buy, because you totally can screw up your credit and potentially your purchase and interest rate. So that's really important. So those are, again, things that you want to remind them of. Again, you know, I would say, if you guys, would be great if you guys partnered up with each other or a significant other. Practice your buyer consultation. You know, how you're going to interact with them. What are you going to say, so that you guys can, again, be bettering yourselves every time that you're doing it. Get more confident if you haven't done that, and you know, learn from it. So let's see, I'm just going through the slides. I think a lot of it we've already gone through and discussed. So do you guys have any questions, comments? Anyone? No? Okay. All right. So I'll just go through it really quick through the remainder of the manual. Like I said, I mean, I think a lot of it is just going through when you're doing your buyer consultations. Once you do start getting familiarize yourself with them, just basically having all the information in front of you. Schools, you know, a lot of people, I don't know if, you know, I've had people, I have a client that well, he's familiar with San Diego and he has his business here in San Diego, but he's coming from Mexico City. So schools are really important. I usually will send them to the website, you know, with all that information. Explain to them also about Megan's Law. A lot of things that people don't think about. That, you know, the other thing in my buyer consultations that I have in a, you know, in bullet points is, and I even tell them every time we go to a house, I don't care what house, I don't care where you live. I always tell people, you want to go during the morning. I mean, if it's a Saturday morning, of course, during the evening, and during, you know, potentially if we didn't go the weekend, during the weekend. And why do I say that is because you never know who's out there, what the neighborhood is. You know, right now, of course, everybody's home, right? So the neighborhoods are different. Also because of parking, you know, you know, sometimes people, I've shown homes where in certain areas, especially here in South Bay and Otay Ranch, you know, they have issues with parking. And guess what? The towing companies are like literally on you. So that's important. Can you imagine going to show a home and then their car or your car gets towed? And you know, of course, you want to also find that out, because guess what? That potentially, if you would have known of that, you know, neighborhood that's, you know, that one is towing your car every day, or two, you know, parties every weekend, You want to make sure you're aware of those situations, because potentially that may be an area that you don't want to be a part of. I had a client, we wrote an offer, and they they did do everything that I told them to do, and then guess what, they were outside, and it was close to the freeway. They didn't realize how loud it was, and we ended up canceling because they couldn't handle that. They couldn't handle the noise. When we went, you couldn't really, it was during the week, and it was midday, so of course there was no traffic. But then during the evening and they went 2 other times, and they just couldn't handle it. So those things are important for, it's better for them to do it before, and you want to tell them, look, you have X number of days to get these things done. You have to actually do them. My job is to find your home, negotiate a price. I mean, even now they can find themselves the home, but why are you there? Because you want to educate them on, okay, these are the things that you have to do. Home inspections right now because of COVID. Some home inspectors don't want everybody there, right? So they'll say, okay, come 30 minutes prior to the home inspection. Well, you want to explain to them, this is your home inspection, not my home inspection. So whatever questions you may have, with respect to it, please be sure to ask, and I always remind them, you're going to get a report. When you get that report, you go through it, and you can either call me, and or even better, call the professional, the home inspector. You can answer, at least the ones that I work with, they will answer any questions that they may have. Because it's a lot of information. I mean, you go through a house with an inspector, and they're going, I take notes, but and I'll take a picture and I'll text it to myself so I can remember whatever they're saying, although I'm going to get the home inspection report. However, you want the client to, it's their responsibility to go through the report, so that when you guys have a discussion about the request for repairs, what is the request for repairs? So again, it goes back to that buyer consultation that we were discussing, of explaining all that information to them, because that way when they've gone through the whole process and are actually buying the home, that buyer consultation that you had with them and those forms that you discussed briefly, they can go, oh yeah, I remember you mentioning that. Oh yeah, whatever it may be. During that time frame, I also tell people, when we're looking for properties, we write an offer, we get it accepted, I want to make sure that you guys check for insurance. And they're like, what do you mean insurance? Your home insurance. It may be in an area where it's fire hazardous or whatever, flood zone, whatever it may be, where guess what? Instead of your typical $60 a month, it's going to be, I don't know, $300 a month. All of that is going to change when you're also discussing the buyer consultation. Go through the payment plans, because people, I don't know, as you start doing more business, people will go, why didn't you send me this property? Like, seriously, what are you doing? Yeah, it has a $500 HOA, so you don't qualify for that home. So explain to them, what does that mean? For every 10,000, your payment goes up X, because it has a $500 HOA. Your spending power just went down to this. So you got to explain all those situations, because people just don't remember, because they're so caught up in, oh my gosh, I love this house, and they miss that little detail of, oh, guess what, I can't afford this one because the HOA is so high, or it has Melrose. What is Melrose? People don't know what Melrose is. So what I often do is with Melrose is I will have, you could do 2 things. Well, in South Bay, we have a lot, we have Melrose in pretty much every zip code except for 2. So what I do is I will have my title person bring up the reports. They have phone numbers, because people want to know. Most people will say, oh, it's only 20 years. Well, no, there's 20 and 30 years, and some of them will not fall off. So there are phone numbers, and I have them look it up, because I don't want to be responsible for me saying that there is no Melrose. And guess what? There is. And it may be significant, where again, yes, just Janet.
Sorry, I don't know what a Melrose is.
Okay, so Melrose are special taxes. So typically they're new developers, when they develop new areas, They basically could have paid for that and it would have incorporated into whatever they were selling the home for. Most developers decided to tack it on to the consumer. So what happens is it's for schools, for streets, for everything in the new development. So for instance, in not just South Bay, in a lot of other areas, they will be bonds where it could be 20 years or it could be 30 years. So some of them may not be that big of a deal, maybe only $140. For instance, 92154, which is Ocean View, their Melrose is like $130. But here in East Lake or Otay Ranch, it could be a difference of about $350 to $400 plus their property taxes. So let's say they say, oh no, I qualify. Well, you want to make sure with the lender, do they really? Because that $400 difference is substantial. So think about it. You're showing, and that's why it's again important to have the lender meet with them, because although somebody may think they're qualified for, let's say, 600,000, right? But then you have a $400 or $500 Melrose, then guess what? They don't qualify for 600 anymore. It may be 550. Then you're in a multiple counter situation because you're in a desirable area, or whatever it may be. So then guess what? Now you should be showing them homes in the 500, 525. So those are factors that you as a professional need to keep in mind and check in with your lender. And if your lender, if they have a lender and they're not being they get annoyed because you're checking in with them, then you know what? Then you need to tell them, hey, you know what? Your lender they need to cooperate with them, because at the end of the day, when that offer gets accepted, you want to make sure that they're qualified and they can afford their payment. Because I've had people where they don't people's lives will not change, and I'm being really serious. People will say, oh no, I will lead, whatever they will lead to buy this home. But realistically, they will not. People's lives will not change. So you want to make sure you get them. Okay, I'm excited, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that you're qualified for $1 million. That is awesome. But what is your comfort level with respect to payment? What do you expect your payment to be? Because guess what? That's going to tell you a lot about where they want to be, because although they may be qualified for $1 million, they want their payment to be X number of dollars. So you're spinning your wheels showing $1 million homes when realistically, although they can afford it, they want to be in this, and on the opposite side. Am I making sense? So all that is going to come in extremely valuable when you're doing your buyer consultations, because also a lot of people, I have some clients that I wish I was as conservative as they are, because they have their budgets, they make really good money, but nope, this is what's here. This is my expenses. They'll send me an Excel spreadsheet of their whole budget. And I'm like, holy moly, I wish I was that organized. And this is what they want to be, although they could be up here. So again, it goes back to you learning and listening to as much as you can about your clients, so that you can be a better, you're not, number one, spinning your wheels, number two, giving them the best value that you can, and assisting them in finding the right properties. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So any other questions, guys? We're good? Maribel?
No.
Okay. And there's the Ford method, and that's not in your book, but well, it may be, and I apologize. It's page 17 and in the old buyer consultation that I had, and I pulled it up only because I thought it was valuable. And I keep going back to coming from contribution. But you really want to ask the questions of remembering the Ford questions, which is, asking about their friends, their family, and their specific questions, their occupation, what kind of work they do, recreation, dreams. What are their dreams? What does their future look like? Some people may want to, if they're, we're a large military base, right, in San Diego. They may not be here long term. However, a lot of them may, they can potentially buy a home. I mean, I lease a lot to military, and I often want them to buy homes. They don't want to, and some of them sometimes go, gosh, I wish I would have listened to you and would have bought something, because they would have came, left with a nice little profit. So just kind of listening to them and explaining to them why they should, if they don't want to lease, if they don't want to own, but they want to lease, it's fine. I'll be more than happy to lease to them. But it's nice to know that you can help somebody else with respect to, I just helped a family. They were leasing from me 5 years ago, military, and then they went to Japan. He called me, and unfortunately I didn't have anything for him, so I helped him find a rental. I earned, I think, $50, but I didn't do it for that. I did it because they were an amazing family, loved them to death, and now he's like, just text me and said, in a couple of months we would love for us to sit down and figure out if we can buy a home, because we're thinking of selling the home that they have in Arizona and relocating to San Diego. My point being is that, again, I wasn't doing it for that. I was doing it because they were an amazing family. They were great tenants of mine. And I was trying to help them out because they were stressed. They were in Japan and with the COVID. So I was helping, and it was, I will tell you, it was so crazy. It was a rental. And can I just tell you, out of I think I called 30 agents, only 3 of them got back to me, because they all wanted to keep, they make, typically when they do property management, I believe they charge, the 1 month of, rent, and they give you, sometimes if you're lucky, $100 for the client that you bring them. But only 3 of them, because they did. So, it's one of those things where you go back and you go, gosh, if their clients would know that that's what they're doing because they want to get the most money, versus thinking about their clients and going, how could I rent this quicker? This my client's going to pay another mortgage because I'm not opening it to everybody to show or to be responsive. So again, it just goes back to the value that you're giving your clients, if I'm making sense. So again, there's always going to be somebody that you're going to find, whether you're looking, whether even unintentionally looking for a client, you're going to find them just because of what you do and trying to help somebody else. And just don't even think of, oh, I hope I get a client out of it. Just do it out of the kindness of your heart. You never know how somebody is going to help in the future. You're going to help somebody else, and they're going to remember what you do for a living and go, oh my gosh, I've never used her, but she's so amazing. She or he are so amazing, because they're always, trying to help people. That I think that they're probably amazing in what they do because of what they're doing with, with their own personal life. Okay. Any questions, guys?
Yeah, you mentioned getting educated and maybe doing a certificate in short sale specialist. Is there any other kind of other classes you would say, or kind of other designations that we should have or think about having as a realtor?
There's so many. I think there's the military relocation certification. There's, of course, a divorce certification. That's, probably the most expensive that I have paid, but it was an amazing experience. And there's the probate through NAR. So there's quite a few. I would say just the only reason why I'm emphasizing probate and short sales is because, one, well, with probate, you're always, it's good to have that experience, because if you do have to end up either listing a probate and or going through that process, you know what that process is like. It's a little bit different than with your typical regular sales. And then of course, with the short sale, you want to make sure you're familiarize yourself with, in case you have to handle a short sale either in a listing situation or when you're representing a buyer, because, you know, I mean, it's going to be a lot different now, but of course in the past, I mean, I actually had a short sale last year that I closed, and my clients had not paid. It was a military family, and that was the referral from the people that I told you that I sold in Ramona. I think they hadn't paid for 7 years, and that was not because my client, her husband did not know this, but anyways, it was 7 years, and it was a very convoluted short sale, so it was good that I had the experience. However, and that's what I'm saying, asking questions, feel free to reach out to anybody in our office or other, you know, there's amazing people that we have in our office. I mean, obviously Broker Bob, Mark. Ask questions, you know, whenever you guys are in doubt, you know, even post it on Facebook, or, you know, if I can be of any assistance, you know, please, you know, no, I can say no question is and dumb enough, you know, and ask any questions, because you know what, we've all had some scenarios where you're kind of like, oh, should I have done, you know, we can all learn from each other on past experiences, and specifically with short sales, you know, also with, you know, people not leaving, you know, tenant evictions, you know, who has handled that? How do you handle those type of scenarios? You know, meeting, not only meeting the lenders, but other professionals would be your stagers, virtual staging. You know, what type of virtual staging companies do other people use? Cleaning services. Start building your database with also those type of professionals, so that when you are ready to move forward, whether not only in the buying, but in the listing aspect of your business, you have all those tools already in place so that you're not scrambling. You know, this past week, the one that I'm listing in UTC, my cleaning people were not available. So I reached out to Chris Spade. He's like, and somebody else, and I sent them to my client, and one of them worked out. So, you know, so now I'm going to save that person. Hopefully they do a phenomenal job, which I'm sure they will. But you want to just make sure you just build up your database with your vendors, your preferred vendors, because that also will help you with, guess what? Developing, nurturing your clients. Oh, you have that handyman. Oh, here's this person. They were amazing. Oh, you need a cleaning person. This person was phenomenal. You know, pass them the business. They could use it. You know, if you went to a good bakery, oh my gosh, this person makes amazing cookies or cakes for your holidays. Just want to pass on the information in case you're looking for somebody. And guess what? They just remembered that you are their real estate consultant, and, you know, and friend, you know, and making them, you know, eat amazing pastries.
Do you have any tips on networking, I guess, and meeting those professional relationships during COVID? Because
I would say BNI, you know, I mean, right now with BNI, I mean, they have to designate you. I mean, Pro Advisors is the same. It's really expensive, but I would say probably try to join as many Facebook groups as you can. And then asking people, I mean, obviously some people are not going to be open for coffee, right? But yeah, you're going to have coffee via Zoom, you know, have lunch with them via Zoom, send them lunch, you know, and, you know, or a coffee card, and say, hey, I would love to connect with you. Just send you a coffee card. Let me know, you know, when it's a good time for us to get together. You know, things that you're going to have to think out of the box. But again, guess what? Those people are going to remember you, because they're going to say, oh my gosh, she's always trying to figure out a way for us to get together. You know, I'm always, when a deal is not coming together, I always try to think, I call my lender, I call the, you know, whatever, whomever, because I don't want the deal. You know, do you ever want a deal to fall apart? Do you want to start all over after you've shown somebody 30, 40, 50 homes? I don't. So guess what? I'm going to do whatever's in my power to make that happen. So it's the same thing with vendors. You know, right now you can't go see them, but you can send them bagels, right? You can send them coffee card and just say, hey, just would love to connect with you. This is what I'm doing. I used to do this, you know, right now with whatever you're, you know, especially with your niche or what you were doing in the past. Connect with those people that you were doing what you were doing, you know, with the attorneys. Just say, hey, I'm doing this. I would love for us to get together and figure out how we can work together and how we can pass on referrals. Because guess what? When those, you know, when they settle those cases, those people may want to buy something because guess what? Now they may have the money, right? Never know. So does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Well, do you guys, I know we have only a few more minutes, which I'm hoping that, you know, I did bring some value to you guys. And if there's anything that I can answer, we have literally 5 minutes. So I don't know if there's any questions that you guys may have, or you want to go ahead and end early, whatever, you leave it up to your discretions. But I appreciate the fact that you guys joined and you know, are definitely, I can't see everybody's faces, but you know, you guys have all beautiful pictures. Aaron, anything, any last thoughts, comments?
What I'm getting is just like be yourself, and most people, they don't, you know, as I think most people, they hate robocalls, and people, they want a human touch. They want somebody, you know, be friendly to them and feel them. I mean, maybe we can't feel them completely, but they want some warm relationship. You know, it's always, you know, always when you go into the store, that friendly smile of the cashier or receptionist or whoever you see is just it taking you lots of you know, burdens from you. Then you see the mean guy who or person that who pretend is professional but want to talk to you like a robot. So it just like, and especially in this time, people, they need more smile and more friendly conversation. And as you said, you know, send them coffee, send them something, you know, and send them gift card, you know, they to remember you. They want touch.
I think, yes, and and I think definitely specifically now in these times that we're going through, I know I certainly love to, you know, I mean, think about it. Do you want somebody smiling, or do you want somebody to like give you a dirty look? Especially now with our face mask, which is awesome because it's getting cold, especially here. And, you know, I mean, I'm cold all the time, but you know, it's kind of nice to have that face mask because at least it keeps me warm. But you know what? Smile, you know, and people go, well, they can't see you. Yeah, they can because of your squinting, at least for me, because all of my wrinkles, right? Or just wave, or, you know, just thank them, you know. How often do we go somewhere and we don't thank those people that we should be thanking them for putting up with us? There's some jerks out there right now in supermarkets and other areas, you know, because everybody's so stressed, you know, and I guess that's the wrong choice of words, but there's a lot of people that are struggling. So thank that person that was not, buy somebody coffee, you know, just you know, I've had people where they go, oh, you know, the person in front of you paid for your coffee, then I end up paying for that person's coffee. But then guess what, if you go to that particular coffee house all the time, guess what, those people are going to remember you. And I'm not doing it for that, don't get me wrong, it's just doing something nice for people sometimes will benefit and will help you in your growth as an individual and in your business. So just
Each one of us,
remember,
what
we're
they
all
want, they
struggling.
do for you.
Yeah, we're all struggling. We all have our issues. I know I have a lot of issues. I have a lot of cobwebs in my in my brain. So we all have issues, but we're here as an office to support you guys and whatever you want to do. And please remember that. And you know, I am terrible at keeping up with friends. So I always tell them, you know, I may not call you all the time, but believe me, if somebody texts me in the middle of the night or needs something, I will be there. So I offer myself to you guys if I can be of assistance in any shape, way, or form. You can text me and I will be more than happy. If I can help you in any way, let me know. Oh, the other thing, and then I'll leave you guys, with respect to when you guys get your deals closed and your home warranty, remind your whatever home warranty, which, you know, with us, with, you know, with Old Republic, we have the home warranty vouchers that you can ask the rep for. And that's a nice little closing gift also that you can give to your clients when they close, and remind them that a lot of the warranty plans that we have, they can rekey the homes. So get their home rekeyed. So that's really important. Sometimes people don't think about things like that, and they should. So just to pretend. But that's it. I mean, do you guys have anything else? Otherwise, we'll end here. And again, I want to thank you. I wish you guys a wonderful, you know, holiday season, and stay safe and healthy, and just stay focused, and you guys will accomplish great things next year. It's going to be an amazing, let us pray and hope that it's an amazing year, and it will be, and just keep on going.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
All right,
you,
guys.
Maria.
Bye-bye.
Everybody have a
Bye.
great day.
You
Have a
too.
good
Bye-bye,
night.
guys.